Question 7.3. It is further given that AKF, the angle between the solar panel and this concrete slab, is y. So there we got a y here, that's AKF. Determine the area of triangle AKF in terms of x and y. So the triangle we are working on, the area of, is AKF, which is the one highlighted in yellow. So we have AK in terms of x, and we also have AKF as y. So we have one x, we have one y. And if we were to put our area formula, let's actually write that down so we can see if we have everything, what is left to actually work out, because it's a 7-mark question. So I presume it's going to be 2 steps to the calculation. But nevertheless, area rule here, and since it's not a 90-degree triangle here, we are going to use our area, sine, and cosine rule. Right? So we cannot use any trig or Pythagoras here. So that's what we're going to apply here. So half AK times KF sine of AKF. And if we look at it, we have AK and we have the angle. The only thing we don't have is KF. So that's what we're going to need to work out. So before we go any further, we cannot work out area. We need to work out our unknown here. And what we also need to keep in mind is that they told us that A, B, C, D, and E, F, C, D are identical rhombuses. So it's very important here that we know our properties of a rhombus again. And what do we know about a rhombus? Well, it's essentially like a square, but slanted to the side, nevertheless. So if it's like a square, that means that all sides are essentially equal. So if AD is x, well then AB is x, this is x, the entire CD is x. So that means that, okay, CK is half x and DK is half x. So there's quite a bit here, but nevertheless, we won't use all. But this helps us how? Because to work out KF, we don't have sufficient information in our actual triangle AKF, which we are dealing with. But what we do know is if we go to the triangle that's at the bottom, which is part of the base here, if we look at this triangle here, this specific triangle has, where it has the angle KCF, which is 120 degrees, it has CK as half x, and it also has CF as x. So only unknown which we want to work out is KF. So there's a lot more information at the bottom triangle there. And let's actually just redraw it here just so we have a bit more clarity. So we draw this here. So this is KCF and we want KF. So that's the goal. And this is half x, this is x, and this is 120 degrees. So now we can use our cosine rule, because remember, when we deal with the cosine rule, it is side, 2 sides and an included angle, or 3 sides. So we don't have pairs. If we had pairs, then we could go ahead and use the sine rule, but here we don't. So here, if we were to put our formula, it will be KF squared, because that has the angle. So CK squared plus CF squared minus 2CK CF cos of C, or let's just make it KCF for consistency. Right, then thereafter, let's go sum in everything we know. So what we want is KF, so that's good. We can leave that there. CK, we know that's half x squared plus x squared minus 2 into half x times x cos of 120 degrees. And so we're going to get this in terms of x. As we can see, we're not solving for x, but we're going to leave it as that specific variable. So if we sort out our right hand side, and then we need to square root it thereafter. So firstly, this is going to be x squared over 4 plus x squared minus x squared, because 2 and the 2 cancels out, and then you just left with x times x there. So minus x squared cos of 120, and we can sort that out now. So as we can see here, and cos 120, we can multiply that by x squared there. So here, x squared over 4, if we just actually sort this out one time now, cos 120, that is equals to negative half. And then what we actually have here is we end up with x squared plus x squared over 4 plus x squared plus x squared over 2. That's what the minus and the minus becomes a positive. And then our final answer is here for kf squared. And don't forget this kf squared is 7x squared divided by 4. And if we were to square root both sides, we get kf is 0 roots of 7x all over 2. And as you can see, now we get kf in terms of x. And now we can take this answer here, put it back onto our diagram here. So this is root 7x divided by 2. And now we can go ahead and work out our area of triangle AKF. So here, let's go ahead and sum those values in we just worked out. Half, and remember AK was root 3x over 2. KF is root 7x over 2 sine of y, right? Remember AKF was y. And if we simplify this, we get x squared at the top. Root 3 times root 7 is root 21, right? You just put them under one root and multiply them together. Sine y, and 2 times 2 times 2 at the bottom, which is just 8. So that's x squared, and this is basically our area of triangle AKF. For 7 marks.